Hello, fellow Africans of all colours. Who cares? I don't. Now, the reason I'm here is because I want to talk about the next live stream video that I'm putting together for Sunday, which will be at 8 p.m. Johannesburg time on Sunday. And basically what I wanted to look at here is the shifting sands of what's going on in South Africa right now. And, you know, you can be so caught up in things that are slowly moving along, you don't realize that, hey, we got a huge issue here, we got a huge problem. Now, let me tell you what happened to me. I grew up in East Africa. I was born in Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. It used to be Tanganyika. And lived in a town called Iringa. And I left there to go to school. I never went back to Iringa after 1960, what would it be, 66, I suppose, 1966, when Tanganyika became Tanzania and has got its independence. But I never went back there. And I did go back there in 2016. And what I saw shocked me. I went back to Iringa. I spent a couple of days there, and oh my God. There was only one white couple from those days who still live in the region, and they're in their 80s, and you know they know they're going to die there, and you know they were the only original whites from the time I was there. The place is not good, Iringa, and Dar es Salaam is not good either. I went to Dar es Salaam too. So when I talk about the shifting sands, I'm talking about how it's almost like a drip feed. You know, things change slowly, and you don't realize how much you're more being impeded by events going on around you. And you've got to carpe diem, seize the day and get the hell out of there if you want to make a future for your kids. Now, since I've been focusing on the issues in South Africa, there are some huge issues that I've realized are actually being discussed by the media, who are totally distorting the facts. So I just wanted to address that. Okay. The first one is that the suggestion is that the whites in South Africa stole the land from the blacks, which, if you look at my video link below, you'll see is bullshit. There was no one there. The Khoi and the San were there, but they no longer exist. They're gone. And a lot of the Khoi and the San were actually exterminated by the Zulu and the Xhosa and these tribes that are now trying to claim that, you know, whites stole their land. So the issue there is that the blacks are now trying to walk onto lands occupied by whites and just claim it as their own, based on nothing but malema. So there's a huge issue for you in the future. If it's starting to happen now, it's not going to get any better in the future. The second thing I'd like to just sort of raise with our live stream meeting on Sunday is the fact that the justification of white farm murders and why the Australian government should not give preferential treatment to white South African farmers is because now they're coming out with a story that, hey, guess what? Their black farmers been murdered as well. You know, they've been murdered as well. Yeah, of course they've been murdered as well. Because South Africa is a very violent country right now. But what the media tend to overlook is the fact that it's not the whites committing the murders, it's the blacks. And yes, there's going to be collateral damage when you've got a community of blacks going out there and murdering people. It's a no-brainer. You know, South Africans, white South Africans make up about 10% of the population. So, to bring that into perspective, what you're really looking at is a situation where, for every, if we're talking affirmative action here, every white death, there should be 10 black deaths. And that's not the case. There's a clear targeting of white people. And it's not by whites on whites or whites on blacks, it's by blacks on whites and blacks on their own people. So that argument is complete bullshit as far as that argument by the media is complete bullshit as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. The EFF guy, Malema, kill the Boer, ho, 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 kill the Boer, do, do, do. I mean, what the hell is that all about? If a Boer went out there and went out on some political stage and said exactly the opposite, he would be behind bars within 2 minutes flat for racially intolerant language. You know, there is something hugely wrong with your judicial system where someone like Malema can go and say that sort of stuff and get away with it. You know, there is obviously something incredibly wrong there, and that does not reflect well on the future there. Yeah, this is a subject we can talk about on Sunday as well, and it's the brain drain. Okay, what's happening in South Africa is that people who have expertise and they're wanted in other countries like America, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, wherever it might be, they're leaving. They've had enough. They're getting out of there. So what you've got is this huge brain drain happening right now, and that should be an amazing concern for anyone living in South Africa, because all your top doctors, all your top engineers, all your top scientists, all your top business people, they're getting the hell out of there. So what have you got left? Think about it. You got nothing. And on Sunday, I'll show a report where it shows that something like 30,000 highly skilled South Africans, white South Africans, I should say, are leaving that country every year, and no one's coming back in to replace them. So what's actually happening is that you're becoming like any other African country where there are no skilled people. But the peril that you're facing is you've got 60 million Africans who come from the north going down to the south because they saw South Africa as a place where they could, you know, keep going and get employment and stuff like that. So you've got this huge population of people who don't actually belong there, who are now going to be looking for food, they're going to be looking for work, there are no skills. There's, you know, it really is a chaotic situation. And the final thing I wanted to raise, which we'll talk about on Sunday, is, and again, talking about the issue of well, how can I put it? Talking about the issue of skills. Africa has a huge AIDS issue. Huge. It's huge. You know, and yes, they've got drugs now that help treat AIDS, but, you know, it's almost like a melting pot of disease. And as services like sewerage and water and the basics, electricity, break down, which is going to happen because the government there doesn't know what the hell they're doing. It's not going to be good. All right, look, I'm just doing this a bit of a promo for the Sunday night live stream. It'll be 8 p.m. Johannesburg time. I'm trying to get someone in who's an expert on, well, he's not an expert on immigration, but he's someone who's actually emigrated from South Africa, like me, to Australia, but he's an Afrikaner. I'm not sure if he can make it, but he will be able to talk in Afrikaans and tell you what's happening in Brisbane, which is where I live. But if you can't make it this weekend, you'll make it in the next few weekends. So, you know, this is the start of this, guys. All I'm trying to do is open up the opportunities of showing you there's another option. You don't have to be stuck in South Africa. And this message doesn't just go out to the South African white farmers. It goes out to any South African white person who's feeling persecuted. Please make that very clear. And something I should also mention is that I said in an earlier video that, you know, if you're over 45 or something like that, then forget trying to come to Australia. I should clarify that. If you've got kids, they can come out here first, and then they can get you over on a family visa. And that's what I did with my parents. Okay, they came over after I came over here on a family visa. And there's another thing too, and that is that if you have money offshore, and it's a fairly sizable amount of money, that will be taken into consideration. And if you can use that money to invest in Australia, it's pretty much a ticket into the country for residency. So, look, there are a whole lot of issues we're going to have to talk about, and I'm learning this on the run, but, you know, I'm here to help you, okay? See you guys on Sunday, 8 p.m. Johannesburg time, okay? Take care.